Hello, Sound Beamers. I'm Claire, and it's my pleasure to tell you about Alan and Maureen's session today. I had a great session with Alan and Maureen. It was really fantastic, and it was their last session before our concert, which is next week. So, next Thursday, 6 o'clock at the Conservatoire, be there. It is going to be our final concert of this pilot year, which has gone by so quickly. Alan and Maureen are really looking forward to it, and I have to say, they did absolutely brilliantly today. They're preparing two pieces for the concert, and so we spent the day just rehearsing them, just kind of doing all the final little tweaks, but it's really fantastic what they've been doing. And I think I'm really proud of them, really, this term, because they've both tried things that have been totally alien to them. This is stuff they've never done before, bearing in mind they're very musical people, but haven't necessarily always had the opportunity to be part of this music making process. And I'm just so chuffed with how they've been getting on. They really have thrown themselves completely into it this term, and the result are two amazing pieces that you'll see if you come next week. So, I'm going to talk you through both those pieces today. As I said, there's two of them. The first one is called Sundance, and the second one is called Seasons. So, with Sundance, Alan has been developing his keen sense of rhythm. Alan is a man who was born to play a drum. He loves drums, absolutely loves them. So, as soon as there's a drum in the room or it's a drum on the sound beam, Alan is your man. He's fantastic at it as well. That's the really nice thing. And Alan's been working a lot on kind of creating his own patterns this term, so coming up with a rhythm himself, and then it's maybe being copied by another facilitator, and that's kind of formed quite an integral part of the piece, and that's certainly true for Sundance. So today, Alan and Dave are quite a close knit team because Alan has come up with this rhythm on the drum, and Dave actually imitates it on his guitar, and that's sort of how the piece starts. On the other side of things, we've got myself and Maureen. We were another little team today. So Maureen is playing a switch, which has just got a drone on it at the very beginning, and then she moves over to the beam. And we were working on sort of non-verbal communication, so me having a turn playing the melody on my recorder, and then giving Maureen a nod, and she'd go onto the beam. And we worked a little bit on that. I think it didn't always kind of become as clear cut as that. But Maureen's just got to a stage now where maybe she'd kind of be focusing a lot on her hand movement and on the light of the beam, which I think is a really easy thing to do, to kind of just focus on that and maybe not think like to look up and see what everyone else is doing. But she was just so into it that I kind of thought after a while, right, I'm just going to join in and see what happens. And she's just so relaxed about it. She just goes with the flow. She knew I came in, and it was just really nice. And even though we didn't quite get this sort of turn taking perfect, what resulted was still a really fantastic musical experience, and I think that was really, really good. The other thing we worked on with Sundance was developing ensemble skill a bit more. So the main thing really being coming in together. Sounds daft, sounds dead easy, but when you're a musician for so long, yeah, it is easy. You don't think twice about thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, go. Especially me, I only count to 4, never mind 7, 8, and all that. But you do. It's just second nature, isn't it? Alan and Maureen have not been involved in any kind of music making opportunity like this before. And so it seems really easy to think like, yeah, we just all count to 4 and then start playing. But actually, that's something that is actually a bit of a bizarre notion if you're not used to it. If you're used to kind of more going, okay, it's our piece, my turn to play, bam. So we worked a little bit on that, and I have to say that with their just fantastic natural endings, their whole ensemble has really come together this term. The other piece that I had the pleasure of being a part of today was Seasons, and I have to say, Seasons sound amazing. It's seriously good. Sounds fantastic. I think it's one of the best pieces that they've come up with, and I don't mean best in that it's better than everything else. I just mean in terms of the development of their ideas and the way that they've just kind of gone for stuff that they've never done before and really thrown themselves into it, and what's come out as a result is just fantastic. So it's got even more original material, I think, than anything they've done before. As you've probably read in recent blogs, they've come up with their own lyrics for this, and it's not quite a song. It's kind of just got this narrative, and yours truly has the pleasure of reading the narrative, and it just explores this idea of a pond in a garden. And this all stemmed from a random phone conversation I had with Maureen, and we were talking about maybe coming up with a song and words and what does she like, and she loves her garden, and we just randomly ended up talking about how there used to be this pond in her garden, and some of the comments she made about it and how she associated it with certain things in her past. It just, that idea just clicked, and she and Alan spent a bit of time just working on this idea of what would have happened to the pond as the seasons throughout the year change. And that's what the narrative is all about. It's all about this space and what's happened to it, what the weather's doing to it. And the music and moods are reflected through everything else they've created around it. So they're both on the sound beam, both start off with switches, and then Alan goes on to a kind of drum beat on sound beam, and Maureen starts to play a beam as the seasons go on. So there's very specific things happening with each season, but overall the entire effect is just seamless. And obviously it has this narrative on top just to kind of I guess give this sort of start to each season to kind of mark where we're now going in this musical journey, and it's brilliant. I think it's going to be a fantastic addition to the concert, and it features Dave on guitar and Georgie on flute. That's all from me for now, Soundbeamers. Please, 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 if you're free, come to our concert next week. It's going to be brilliant. You have to hear Sundance, you have to hear Seasons, and I have to say, Alan and Maureen are not the only ones who have been doing some amazing work this term. All of the participants have got some really just fantastic things to show you, so please come if you're free. Next Thursday, Thursday 28th of August, 6 o'clock, Recital Hall at the Conservatoire. Be there, be part of it, be part of the final concert for Freedom's pilot year. And I promise you, you won't be disappointed.